AI-powered data solutions are changing the way the mining industry operates, boosting efficiency, improving safety, and driving sustainability. MaxMine is at the forefront of this shift, and joining me now is Sean Mitchell, CEO of the team at MaxMine. It's good to see you. How is AI-driven innovation transforming mining like never before? Take us through a little bit about it.
Thanks, Mike. Delighted to be here. AI has been a core part of what MaxMine has been doing for probably over 6 or 7 years now. The mining industry is at a point where digitisation is becoming a more common thing.
Yeah.
The challenge is trying to get and make sense of the data that's actually coming through. So a company like MaxMine, we have over 14 million hours worth of data. And trying to make sense of that and provide what we would call decision support, and in the field, that requires AI. So it's now taking some of those machines that we would classify as pretty rudimentary and actually making them far more smarter and bringing that decision making to various levels within the mining industry.
Super smart shovels and whatnot, I imagine. I can only imagine the technology that's going on behind the scenes, but
Absolutely.
Your data helps improve both efficiency and safety. How are you expanding safety-focused initiatives? We know mining sites can be a dangerous place. And of course, how much of a priority is that for the industry, maybe more broadly speaking?
I think safety for the mining industry is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
It's at a point where you're making sure that miners get home safely to their families is imperative. At MaxMine, what we've tried to do is to have a look at two parts. One is in what we call our investigation side. Our executive chair, who's been CEO for a long time, has also called them our air crash investigation capability.
Right.
So this is where we can sit here and use all of that data. And if you can imagine, and I've been in some of these trucks now, trucks that can hold 300 tonnes, they're 200 tonnes of their own weight.
Awesome.
So that's 500 tonnes potentially coming down a ramp. If that ramp has a bad condition on the road, has been recently wet down by a water cart, and you start into a slide, you can imagine the challenge for that. So what we find is that MaxMine's used, because of all the data that it contains, as almost an accident investigation. So we don't try and make a determination on what went wrong. It could be that there's a problem with the vehicle, it could be the individual driving the vehicle, it could be the conditions of the road or some other event that's caused that. What we're finding is that on that part, even some of the work safety state legislation groups are actually using our data to actually look at those investigations and make calls on soft tissue injuries, if I've got work cover and things like that. At the other side, we're seeing that we're actually a preventative solution. So within mining, there have been for some time with some of the trucks and diggers, the ability to have things like collision avoidance systems. What we tend to do is more around the preventative.
Yeah, right.
So we're trying to change behaviour. Recently, up in one of our Queensland mines there that we're working with, they've had a 97% reduction in safety incidents.
Great.
So combination of the technology to sit there and say, we know what speed you're doing, what gear you're in, all those things, coupled with behavioural change about this is a warning, we need you to stop.
Education, etc. Yeah, it's wonderful to see. So where do you see MaxMine's role in digital transformation of mining over the next, say, 5 years?
So it's an exciting time as mining embraces technology now. And for a long time, there's been a level of technology that's around what they call fleet management. So where I dispatch. What we're trying to do is bring that decision support to all levels of the mining industry. So whether that's the executives, the general managers, but where it gets really exciting is down to the superintendent who's out in the field. So we often refer to their office as being their light vehicle, their Land Cruiser. And it's incredible when you've been out on these mine sites to understand how much variability there is. So the blast site, the diggers, the trucks. And what we're doing is actually bringing that data to make decisions immediately across that day. So typically, if you didn't have that digital data at hand, you'll be waiting to get back, analyse, and then make a change for the next day.
Yeah.
Mining is one of those places where KPIs are probably every hour. Not many of us have to deal with that.
Thank goodness for
Thank
that.
goodness, no.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that they've got the best data at hand. Where we see that potentially going is at to the point where using text-to-speech and the AI that we've got, where you could envisage a superintendent being able to say on a radio to dispatch, tell me what's happening with this circuit of trucks and diggers over here, and actually getting a full AI report back and then actually asking for a change to occur.
Yeah, it's unreal. The voice response technology that we're seeing, even on a commercial level, is just very impressive. So let's talk a little bit about your immediate goals for your first 6 to 12 months. As CEO, you've got things to do, I imagine.
Absolutely. So We are seeing ourselves very much as leaving startup mode and into scale up. And as part of that, that's very much about trying to mature the organisation internally and empower those people. Is my job that we've got in the team, a really smart bunch of engineers, but bringing that commercial maturity. And then also we've got some pretty strong growth targets. We're looking at a 50% sort of target aspiration for this year.
Very nice.
And as part of that, we're actually growing our sales team. So we're heading into new geographies. We're currently in Australia, up in Queensland, in the Pilbara where you'd expect, but also in Africa. And now we'll take that probably into the Americas and Southeast Asia.
Incredible stuff. All right, so what's next for MaxMine moving forward? Is there anything else you wanted to tell us to round out our conversation today, Sean?
I guess for us, the key thing that we really focus on and is important to understand, and there's a lot of activity in the market now with mining technology, I guess, is that we're focused on really making sure that we can improve productivity with that technology, reduce cost, maximise safety, and then there's a byproduct of actually lowering emissions. What we need supporting our mining industry is we're moving to renewables. That's a really key thing to do. We're supporting that ability so that that's done as safely, as effectively, and with the least amount of disruption as possible.
Absolutely. You don't want to be introducing technology that doesn't quite meet the standards and whatnot. But
Exactly.
Sean, it's been a pleasure to speak to you today. If people want to find out a little bit more about MaxMine's operations, where's the best avenue to connect with you or perhaps, find out more?
It's exciting. We've actually just launched our new website.
Perfect.
Timing that was literally yesterday. That's www.maxmine.com.au.
Easy as that. Sean, thanks again for joining us on the program, bringing this to our attention.
Thank you. Cheers, Mike.